Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mitzi, and this is Mitzi. Let's think about it. Today, we are thinking about single motherhood. Let's be real. There are a lot of women across the world that are single and doing this all by themselves. Well, luckily for me, I have someone who is here who knows all about it. She has three little babies. God bless them. And she's going to be in and out because, hey, that's what mamas do. You know what I'm saying? And we are going to make this happen. So, hi, how are you doing?
Yes, this is my 1-year-old Akai. You okay? Yes, thank you, Mitzi, so much for having me. I am excited to have this conversation. I definitely didn't plan to be a single mom, but I feel like the longer that I am handling this challenge, the more I realize that I was built for it. So I'm grateful to have this conversation.
That's good, because sometimes women dread just thinking about being a single mother because it's hard. It's hard being a mother in general. You know what I mean? We go through a lot and we go through a lot alone. You know what I mean? There's tears that no one will see, there's prayers that no one will know, and there's worries that people, if they heard them, they would think we are paranoid and absurd. And being a single mother, I mean, how do you really manage with just multiple, like multitasking work and your relationships and just being there? Because one of my biggest thing is like, am I depriving my children, while I'm still managing myself? Like, tell me, what's your opinion on that?
So one of the things that I realized recently, like kids when they're little, they're like cups for their attention and their love that they need. They're not that big. So if I'm able to dedicate specific times in a day just to them, when I need to work, yes, they're going to be around, but they're not going to be as needy and like on top of me to get my attention because their attention cup has been filled up from morning activities, cuddle time, just, we do our morning prayer affirmations, those types of things that we do together so that I can set the boundary to say, okay, mommy has to work or mommy has to get on a call and they're more understanding. My 1-year old, not so much, but my 2 and 3-year old, they're more understanding and they know, oh, mommy, you're on a call. Yes, mommy's on a call. So that is one of the biggest things, but also I intentionally release mom guilt because I realized that my whole life revolved around just being a mom, even though I had these other roles. I wouldn't allow myself to be fully present in my other roles because I was always focused on my kids. So by intentionally releasing that mom guilt about being more than just a mom, like a mom is, a lot in and of itself, but releasing that guilt around feeling like every time I was trying to do something else, like you said, I was depriving my kids or was taking away from my kids, but they need to see us being the wife. They need to see us being the entrepreneur. They need to see us taking care of ourselves so that they'll know once they get older, oh, mommy took care of herself and she also took care of us.
Yes. Oh, I love the fact that you said that because let's be honest, you're not only showing that, but you're also teaching them boundaries and their own space. Now it's time for them to have their time, and it's good to have your time. It's good to be alone too, because let's be honest, if you can't be alone with yourself, how can you really have a relationship with anybody else? And that's the beauty of also having siblings because you can have your time with yourself and then you can have time with your siblings and you're still okay because your cup is constantly being filled. And I think that's the greatest thing that we need to let other mothers know, is that we are more than a mom. And I think it's I think that's just a tradition of generations of women. Once they become mothers, that's it. That's all that we are. We are no longer a biologist. We are no longer a president. We are no longer a CEO. We're no longer an entrepreneur. We're no longer nothing because now we are a mother and that's all that is. But then in reality, it's like once our children grow up, then what? I'm a mother with no kids, and it's ridiculous because so many women they get lost in that identity. I've watched documentaries where profound women have gone into just addictions and depression because of that. And I know you were saying that a bit, and I know is that kind of how you led into writing this book?
So my book came before motherhood. I actually wrote my book right before I got married. But the framework for the book is really what has helped me to continue to have this journey of single motherhood be much easier than it would be had I not realized that, go ahead, baby, get it, that I needed one community. Community is so important because as a single mom, I can easily say, oh, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. As women, like that's just a conditioning for us. Like, okay, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. If I don't do it, it's not going to get done. But for me, realizing that I don't have to do everything on my own and realizing how easy things can be if you're just willing to ask for help. And even if the person that you ask for help isn't available, having that community and support system of people that you can connect to and ask for help and just say, like, be honest with them, like, I need a break. It's okay to need breaks from your kids. And a lot of women, moms have guilt, like, dang, like, am I a bad mom? Because I just need a break. I just need a moment to myself. I'm here to say you're not a bad mom to need time for yourself. Men take time for themselves, dads take time for themselves without guilt, without feeling like they're taken away from anybody else. But yeah, like it's the framework from my book. That is one of the key pieces that has helped me on my journey as a single mom, just realizing how important it is to have a community of support system. Because they say it takes a village to raise a kid or raise a child, but for me, a tear, please don't open it. It takes a village to be a mom, especially a single mom.
Yes, thank you for that. That's good because you're right. So we have this message in our head that's automatically downloaded once we give birth that, oh, it's all on us. And it's ridiculous because the pressure is unrealistic. We put way too much pressure on ourselves. And the reason why so many women go into this postpartum depression after having a child, I mean, is probably because of that. You know what I mean? It happens to me. And it probably happened to so many women out there. I mean, come on, you're telling a story that is very relatable, very relatable for a lot of women out there that's trying to find themselves while trying to raise another human being and trying to make sure that child doesn't die. Like, don't die on me.
And that's one of the things that I say all the time. Like, I'm grateful that, you know, I've been able to keep these three little beings alive. Like, if I didn't accomplish anything else all day, me and these three little beings are still alive. Like, that
Yes,
is a major accomplishment.
for real. For real.
Absolutely. Like that is one of the things that we sometimes take for granted. Like we beat ourselves up because we didn't get these activities in or this in or we didn't cook a 3-course meal or 5-course meal. But listen, at the end of the day, if you and your little ones are alive, you accomplished a major feat.
Exactly. Exactly. I stand by that every day because at the end of the day, like, you only get so much of peace to yourself, you know what I mean, with having little ones. And when you get that moment of just like, "Oh, I can breathe," be like, you know what? It was still a good day. It was a long day. May have like felt defeated at some points, but you know what? I did it. I made it. We're gonna see another day, and that's the blessing. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that honestly, because man, people need to listen. People need to remember that, if you're a mother, you're going through that hardship. And even I've even met couples that struggle raising their child because they just can't do it. Mentally, they're just not prepared to be a parent. And as a single mother, I would like to know, what is your opinion on what really qualifies someone to be a mother? Because anybody can push out a baby, but what really defines someone to be that mom, that mommy, that mother, that real mother, in your opinion?
Think it starts with the woman as an individual. Like do you love yourself? If you don't love yourself, you won't have love to give to your kids. Like that is one of the major things that I realized because I I was in an abusive marriage and I didn't see my self worth. I wasn't taking care of myself. So I couldn't show up as the best version of myself for my kids. I couldn't show up as the best mom that I wanted to be because I wasn't taking care of myself. I didn't love myself. I didn't do what needed to be done for myself. A lot of women feel like, oh, I have to pour everything out into my kids because they need me. You need you. You need you. By pouring into yourself so that you can show up as the best version of yourself, that's what your kids need.
Yes.
So that for me is one of the major, things that I feel like qualify someone as being a mom is that they love themselves. Take it out.
I love it. Yes. This is such an awesome interview with your babies. I think it's so real. Like, come on, if you're watching this, then you know that it's real. It's as real as it gets, you know. She's showing what happens in reality. I mean, if you can't respect a mother, then you cannot respect your own life. Let's be honest. Because you came out of a mother, you have a mother. Even if you don't have a good relationship with your mother, you still have a mother, you know, and that says a lot because a lot of the times a lot of people have a bad relationship with their mom is because their mom was still trying to figure out how to love themselves while being a mother. And once we realize, like, dang, you know, it's harder than what my mom went through, you know, then it could, I mean, you put that into perspective, then you realize, you know what, you can have some compassion for your own mother and possibly have a better relationship because of it, because you're able to put yourself in your mother's shoes. You know, I think that's something that a lot of people need to do. I mean, what is your opinion on that?
Yeah, and you touched on something earlier about the postpartum. And a lot of women experience it and they don't even know like what the signs are, what to look for. Family members don't know the signs or what to look for. And things will happen and they're like, how could she do that? How could that happen? This, that, and the third. But you don't understand giving birth to a child, that literally changes everything about you. So to have the chemical imbalance or to have the issues with postpartum depression, it takes that to a whole nother level in addition to all of the pressures that already come with being a mom. So for me, it's like being able to advocate for moms to share, like, it's okay to not be okay. Like, like we sometimes feel like we always have to be superwoman. We always have to show up for everybody. We always have to be doing everything for everybody. And when we're not okay, we don't tell anyone, we don't talk about it, we don't share. But that is vital for you to be able to show up and say, like, man, I don't feel like myself. I don't feel good mentally, spiritually, emotionally enough to be able to take care of my kids, and I need help. And a lot of people, like men, don't understand because they don't go through it. Whether they're, a doctor or whatever the case may be, they still don't fully understand because they've never had to go through it.
Exactly.
So I definitely understand. Here, baby, here. I can I haven't I've had like baby blues and stuff like that, but I haven't experienced postpartum depression. My sister has. So I was there and she lived next door, so I've been there to support her with that. But it's just a matter of, like I said, like being willing to share and ask for help and share, like, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And
You
I
know, you
need
gotta
additional
admit
support.
it. Yeah.
Mhm. It starts with
Once
that.
Yeah, once we admit it to ourselves, like I'm not okay. Once you have to realize, like, you know, it's time to step out. You know, it's time to step out of this cloud that now you're in and you don't know how to get out because if you stay there, you're not going to progress. So the only way only direction you have is to just move forward. And by moving forward is asking for help, communicating to people who you can trust, you know. And if you can't find anybody in your immediate circle to trust, then branch out, because there are so many people out in the world that have an open heart, that's willing to show that compassion and that understanding and that empathy, that and all in reality, that's all that women want. You know, we want that. We, as a mother, we just want that respect. As a mother, we just want that understanding. So to hear what you say, I mean, it makes perfect sense. And I guess my next question is, once your babies get older to make their own life decisions, what is one thing that you are going to implement into their minds that they can hold on to, that's, you know, that's important?
Oh, thank you, baby. That's a good question.
Oh,
Um,
yes. You see them? Good question.
yeah, because it's easy for me to like get caught up in the now moment, especially
Mhm.
they're only little but for so long. And my
Mhm.
kids, I literally have my kids back to back. My oldest two,
Yes.
no, not on the window, baby. My oldest two are 10 and a half months apart, and my youngest two are 19 and a half months apart. So, like, they're so little, it's hard for me to, like, think about when they get older. But one of the things that I want to be able to instill in them is kind of what I talked about earlier, is that it's not selfish to take care of yourself.
Mhm.
Like,
Yes.
that, yes, thank you for using your words, baby. Um, I grew up watching my mom take care of everybody else first and putting herself last. And for me, I realized that self care, self love, really doing the things that are going to fill my cup were non negotiable. Are you being a dinosaur right now? My mommy's on the phone.
I love
Um,
it.
yes, but it was like when I got out of that abusive marriage and started to really take care of myself, I was able to see a version of myself that I had never met as a mom. And I didn't have that example because even now, to this very day, my mom takes care of everyone else before herself. And she doesn't, she has had a hard time shifting from that mindset of everybody else first before myself. So now I have to kind of parent my mom to take care of herself.
Yep. Sounds about right.
And that's one of the things that we don't always take into consideration, the examples of moms that we had
Mhm.
and how that impacts how we show up as moms. And sometimes we'll go down that same path. And for me, I made a conscious decision to do something different so that I could be healthy spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, and be the best version of myself for myself first and then my children. Knowing that it's not selfish. That's one of the most selfless things you can do is to take care of yourself first.
Love that. I love that, because I think I always try to say that is that there's always a season in our lives where we're going to be selfless. There's a season to be selfish. There's a season for everything. And when we see it in somebody else, we can't point fingers if a woman is being selfish right now and loving herself and choosing to love herself in a certain way. We have no rights to judge her, because this is her season to shine. This is her season to love herself in the only way that she knows how, and there's no wrong that she's doing. And I hate it when other moms shame moms because it's their selfish season. Let them love themselves, because you don't know what they told themselves months ago in the dark, where they were hating themselves or questioning themselves or undermining themselves. You don't know. We don't know. So there's no right for no mother on this earth to shame another mom for enjoying themselves and loving themselves and embracing themselves, embracing their bodies, embracing their community, embracing their culture, embracing every aspect of who they are as a woman. I feel that respect other women, let them do their thing. We have no reason to judge how it looks, right?
Yep.
That's what I say.
Yeah. Let like you. Like people look at social media or look at the after, when people are showing up in a certain way that they feel is unacceptable or unpresentable for a mom, like the whole Kiki situation with her boyfriend or whatever, him judging her and people judging her about the way that she was dressed or whatever the case may be. Like, you don't know what she went through behind the scenes as a mom after having a child. So
Yep,
you're not the person or anyone to judge her for, wanting to continue to enjoy life.
exactly.
People think that, oh, she's a mom, so that's all she can be. No, Kiki was a lot before she became a mom. And she doesn't have to put that down or put that to the side just because she's a mom now.
Hmm. And I think that's the taboo is just having that mom title. It's like you can be anything else in this world before you have that title, but as soon as that title comes off, everything else on your resume is gone, and now you're just a mom. And that's the taboo of the situation. And let's be honest, hands down, it is what it is. Society's messed up because that's what they have given us. Give birth, boom, you're a mom, you suck, you don't have nothing else better to do. Go be a mother, dress in ugly clothes, you know, act like you're
Mom,
happy. I need a 5 course meal, happy on your face, sex anytime. Like, no, this is not reality. Be touched. I don't want it. I don't want to cook. I don't want to like sometimes I want to dress nice. You know what I mean? It's okay. And I think the fact that we are having this conversation and we are voicing it out for the world to hear, for mothers to hear, single mothers especially, because they are judged the most. Let's be honest. You are judged for thinking about dating. You are judged for thinking about working. You are judged for putting your children in daycare. You are judged for leaving your child with somebody else. You are judged for sneezing the wrong direction. You are judged for every little thing. Like, goodness, you are watching way too hard, and you need to stop your focus on me and refocus on yourself because in reality, you're not the problem. Single mothers are not the problem. They're just embracing themselves in this new world that we're in this new generation of loving yourselves, and they are embracing it, and they can't accept it. You know what I mean? The sad truth is that men can't accept it. Women of traditional views can't accept it, and it's sad. It's truly, truly sad. And I guess to start wrapping up the show, what would be some lasting advice that you can give us? I mean, I know that you had already been giving us great knowledge and great wisdom and just great, great, great information, but what can be some lasting words that you can leave us off with?
yes, for the moms, for the single moms out there, just realize and understand that you're not in this struggle alone. There are other women, other moms, other single moms like me that are out there to support you and share the resources, the wisdom, the knowledge that they have so that your journey as a single mom, however long or short it may be, that you're not alone and you don't have to do it alone. Um, it might seem easier at times to, just get it done because you know what to do or you know how to do it, you've done it before. But that's the quickest way to burn out. That's the quickest way to end up in a deeper depression. That's the quickest way to end up in a space where you have nothing after your kids grow up. You don't have a life because you literally poured everything into your children. So
Hmm.
just realizing and understanding that you're not in this alone and that there are people out there that want to, be in your community, in your support system, even though it might not be family what we desire it to be, but there are people that can come into your life and be just as close, if not closer than family.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Those were beautiful words. Thank you so much, Joyce. This was an awesome, awesome, awesome conversation. Goodness gracious. I love these. Uh, These are the best conversations because they're real, they're honest, and let's be honest, this is what we need to think about. We need to think about the real nitty-gritty, and people need to realize that there are people behind them and you're not alone. And you know what? If you need an army, we will be your army and stand by your side. And if anybody wants to reach out to Jalissa and just really figure out more about themselves and having that guidance and direction in this single motherhood, please, please go check her out. I have her lovely photo on my website with a direct link to her beautiful website. I'm telling you, I was on there and she really has some great content. If you are lost or need some sense of direction, go check it out. It's great to have her start your community if you're really looking for some, okay? Well, that's it. That's our show. Thank you so much. Always keep thinking, y'all. Bye.